and welcome. I'm Veronica Andrew, the Marketing Specialist at Augusoft. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Reporting at its Best, Finding the Right Tools to Tell Your Story. Before we get started, I would like to go through some housekeeping items. Today's presentation will be recorded and will be available for viewing this week. The panel on your right provides an area for you to enter your questions at any time. We will answer them at the end of the webcast. And now I will turn it over to Beth Moorhead, who will discuss our presenters for today.
Hi, this is Beth Moorhead, Director of Business Development with Augusoft. Welcome to another best practice webinar. We're fortunate enough to have Trenton Hightower, who's a good friend of mine and has joined ProTrain recently and as Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Business Development. Before I introduce Trenton and a little bit more background about Mr. Hightower, between Augusoft and ProTrain, I want to just take a poll question. If you go to the right-hand side of your screen, you should be able to answer just a couple questions that we have for you. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of time, and the question is fairly basic, and it's about whether you're using online classes or not. And I'll keep talking so there's not some dead air in here. All right, this is great. Okay. So what we're basically finding out is about approximately 58% of you are using at least 2 online class providers, if not more. But there are 15% of you out there that aren't using any online classes providers currently. And 8% of you would like to know more, and the other percentage you're using about 1 provider. That's not surprising. As we know, there has been other online class providers that have been in the marketplace for quite some time. And Augusoft is strategically positioned with ProTrain several years ago. They were our 2nd online class provider that we partnered with, and we've had a really great relationship with them for many years. And at the end of the presentation, we'll show how really ProTrain classes interface into Lumens. So we'll go ahead and close out this poll now. Okay. And all right, let's go to what are students using to register for classes. This was another question we wanted to ask you all. Are you using an ERP to register for classes? Are you a Augusoft Lumens customer, or are you using something else? So, because many of you will use a hybrid of situation on that, and obviously what we really want to talk about is student success, and that's what our job is, to help you guys with student success in addition to ProTrain. Okay? Great. So it's a good split, half and half. That's excellent. Okay, we'll go ahead and close out this poll. All right. So we've got some Augusoft customers on the line. Okay. And then let's talk about just specifically with ProTrain. Do you use ProTrain now? And some of you, if you're Augusoft customers, you may have it turned on, but you may not be actively selling ProTrain ProTrain classes. Okay. And I'm going to let you respond back on that. All right. So 38%, 44, okay. It's almost, again, a half and half. We'll give this a little bit more time. How many of you are using ProTrain today? Okay, about 60% are no, and 40% are yes. Okay, so Trenton's going to get into why you want to use ProTrain and why you want to start using online classes as a whole to supplement your programs. Okay, we'll go ahead and close out that poll. All right, and we won't do that one yet. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Trenton a little bit more background. Trenton has over 22 years of experience working in leadership roles within community colleges. He was instrumental in 2 of the community colleges as Director of CE, VP of CEs, to literally bring those programs out of deficit into a profit. and Senator worked on teamwork and partnering. He also has authored Field Trip 101, which is an approach to team building. He's also got some other sales tools that he's delivered out to the marketplace. Trenton holds a bachelor's degree in communications and public relations and a master's in administration of higher education, and he's also finishing his doctorate in organizational leadership. So Trenton, I'm going to go ahead and turn the controls over to you. We'll flip to the next slide, okay, and turn those controls over to you, and you can start telling them a little bit more about ProTrain and go from there. Trenton?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, we're just seeing your computer screen right now.
Right, so the presentation that you had is not up, so I will,
Okay,
I would have thought it would just stayed right on the presentation. I apologize for that.
that's okay. All right, great.
So in regards to the handoff, I appreciate your handoff to me about the presentation. We went through the presentation about looking for ProTrain. Beth did a nice job of introduction. I did serve as the Assistant Vice Chancellor for the Virginia Community Colleges for 7 years and spent 7 years at Frederick Community College as a Vice President of Continuing Education. And in those, and in that time, we were always looking at partnerships and finding ways to decide why we would have new partnerships. So in today's presentation, what I'd like to do is actually give you a tool for evaluating and suggesting why you may want to partner with other resources and other ideas. At ProTrain, Betty Gardner is the CEO, has built ProTrain for the last 10 years to be a partner in the community college system, university work, as well as some private colleges and business to business. ProTrain has successfully served a number of people in these elements of saving time and trying to find ways to serve new customers, build new programs both in classroom and online, and generate new revenue. So my point in sharing this with you right away is that I want to think about when Betty Gardner and the Chief Operating Officer and myself and other team members get together and we decide to add new resources or time, we have to think through a metrics about why we want to partner with somebody. If you had to go to your vice president or your college president and say that you'd like to add a new partner to your relationship, you may have to have some qualifications or have a document to validate why you'd want to move forward in that partnership. Today's presentation, we're going to do that. I'm going to give you a metrics for partnering to think about how you could take your presentation to the college president for approval. I'm going to talk about our Augusoft and ProTrain partnership, which serves students better, gives ease of access to registration processes, and so makes your students be able to register quicker and more efficiently to get a job. And we got to ease the pain of the students in regards to that process. I'm also going to talk about another partnership that ProTrain is in right now and how we had to evaluate that partnership. So I'm going to give you two examples of evaluating partnerships and also showing you why we decided to move forward with those partnerships. So the first thing that I would think about is having a partnership evaluation tool. So if you had to prepare a document that was going to be put in front of your college president because you were going to sign an MOU or a contract, the first things you'd want to ask yourself is about your mission and vision. So if you look at Augusoft's mission and vision and ProTrain's vision and mission, each of us do carry these terms about being affordable, serving students, and serving students to get jobs. That does match with the college and university continuing education model, and you'd want to be able to show that in the beginning that you're finding organizations that have mission and vision that match with your organization. Secondly, you'd want to look at the benefit to the college or the college students or the continuing ed students. You'd want to be thinking about what is the benefit based on the last slide that I showed you. You'd want to be able to show your college president how you were saving time and money for the institution. You'd want to show them how you're serving more students, how you're having new programs and new services to meet the economic development needs, and think in terms of what the demand is in your community. When you show them they're also entering technology markets and also using search optimization and different tools of technology, those are advantages that you can gain from profit businesses and also other non-for-profit businesses that you want to be able to document and show to your college president. Could be your vice president or dean. Step number 3 is, what is the short-term gain and the long-term gain? So you're going to think in terms of demonstrating in 1 year what the performance is that you expect. What new programs would you add? What new students would be served? Your local demand and your economic development needs should be a part of that short-term and long-term goals. 1 year might be short-term. 3 years could be long-term. It's a little bit subjective in regards to your preparation. Finally, you're going to be showing how much time and money it would take to begin the partnership and maintain it. For the partnership with ProTrain, there's no financial investment in the front end. There would certainly be a little bit of obligation associated to getting the website up and running, selecting the courses that best meet your market need, thinking about in-classroom or online classes. And as you think through that process, you're going to be finding out how you're going to benefit your students and how you're going to be able to maximize that investment of your time. This is just a four-plan strategy to have a formal plan to go in front of your college president. Back to vision and mission, one of the things that we take very serious at ProTrain, the president of the company, Betty Gardner, is a North Carolina State continuing education director in the past. She's taken the company for the last 10 years, and last year we went through the state process of becoming a sole proprietary licensed school with the North Carolina Community College System office. In doing that, we went through a rigor to match even more closely our college and university partners. We've had a third-party academic institution evaluate our courses, outcomes, and planning processes. By showing those matches in all 4 of these categories prepared in a document, you're well-tuned to go to your college president or vice president and dean and feel confident that you know this is a good partnering plan for your strategy. You may want a metrics to kind of think about how you could evaluate that. So I'm suggesting a metrics where you could actually score it. You could actually build a metrics and actually build the fact that you know that they have to score a certain way in regards to your organization's match. You could score it by points. I use a Likert scale here. And I actually then create a method to be able to score them in each one of the categories from the 4 that we just talked about. I break out short-term and long-term, and then I break out time and money so that you can score each one of those. Score of 1 to 5, and the idea is that you would see that they could at least be able to gain 15 or more of the 50% of the points necessary to be considered a good partner. This is subjective. It's a way for you, though, to be able to monitor your measurement. You could do it with a team of members, 2 or 3 people in your team, and see how they would score. Then you can come to a conclusion as you move the partnership forward for approval in your organization. If it makes sense, what you want to do is be prepared for your leaders. Many times we hear organizations say, well, we need the MOU and the contract to move forward, but they may not put enough documentation in there to get it approved at the other end. If you follow the guidelines that I just shared with you, you'd be ready to move forward, and your college president or vice presidents and deans would feel more confident about your proposal for this. The fact is that partners exist in our society everywhere we go. And so you can see here's 5 points of just partnership levels that come from the ideas of coexistence. The fact is that each college and university in your community, you coexist and compete for some academic students, and you compete for some continuing ed students. You're each doing marketing and advertising together. If you had a job fair together where you were all sitting in the same room, like with a conferencing event, or kind of had a shared event together, you might be doing some cooperation where you're actually getting together in the room and you're aligning, letting the customer kind of make choices, but you're there together. A coordination and a collaboration on an academic level is kind of like an articulation agreement. In Virginia, as the Assistant Vice Chancellor for the Virginia Community Colleges, I was able to witness 23 articulations between universities where they guaranteed admission of the community college academic student into the university after the first 2 years if they met certain requirements. They're getting really close to that coordination and that collaboration effort because they're saying, all right, our students will be allowed to immediately enter. You're trying to figure out how you can find that coordination and collaboration between partners, competitors, and different ways of serving business. We always find ways to share different strategies with even different partners in our community. We even have found that certain partners serve different level clients than we do, and so therefore, while we might be in the same market, we can find that we can share success with that. We're all trying to take this cooperation and collaboration to build new students, new programs, and new partnerships. So at ProTrain, we've taken a lot of things in consideration about understanding the market space of the Department of Labor. We make sure we understand career pathways and stackable skills, and we're focused on serving 4 different market spaces. Unemployed people who are dislocated and need assistance around a new job, a new career. So we're going to align with the unemployment market. We're going to help with Workforce Investment Acts. We're going to be a partner to help you build that market space, and we actually work with the local one-stops to help build that. The emerging workforce is the high school students coming out. 50% of the high school students that graduate will leave and not go to college and will enter the workplace without a certificate or a credential or any other college work. They're in desperate need of getting a skill set. We're working with different colleges, universities, and adult education centers to make that linkage for those students. The incumbent workforce is your current employers. That's dealing with some upgrade skills and business training that's necessary. We've had some activity going on where we're actually working at a local hospital and putting together a phlebotomy class to help serve some of the students are actually full-time employees there, and we're helping to upgrade their skills so they can service their clients better. The final thing I'd mention is underskilled staff. That's the elusive market that's hard to find. They're busy working, they don't have time for class, they don't have money for class. You need a partner that's going to help you seek those individuals out, communicate ways for paying for the program, and we've taken it serious. We've gained a new partner in our area of student loans, and we actually have a chance to actually help some of these underskilled people find a way to get this program paid for through a partner that we've developed ourselves. You need to find someone that's going to help you with the equipment, supplies, books, and courses. The idea of incurring cost out of your budget is expensive. You have a fixed budget at the beginning of the year, and we've been fortunate enough to be able to help a number of college and universities save their budget money so they can serve other classes and build other programs. So you think about the market share that you're in, you may not have the equipment and money that you need to run certain kinds of programs. Books can be very expensive, and so you're finding ways to find partners that will help you remedy this and serve more students. We build flyers and build websites, as well as having social media and search optimization to help you meet more students' needs, find more students, and be successful. Frankly, right now, continuing ed divisions sometimes are understaffed and have little marketing, budgeting money for building their website and social media. We can help you build that and grow that, and you do that by sitting down to put together a strategic approach to partnering. It is about brainstorming, how you serve your customers better and making some priorities around how you serve people. In the beginning, ProTrain has taken it very serious and actually gained recognition by the Military Spouse Employment Agency. In doing that, we have gained recognition that we use a logo, that we serve military spouses, and that we employ military spouses, and we've taken it very serious to be recognized for that. And that's one way that you can prioritize the importance of your services and the students that you're serving. So we have recognized that vets that are returning from combat that need to enter the workplace is a priority for us, as well as military spouses and unemployed people from the Workforce Investment Act. We're very clear about our mission, and we can help you develop services to save money and save time around those particular areas. So when you think about partnering and finding the right partners, I've given you a matrix to think about that. One of the things that's very important right now to business and industry is thinking about how you can find ways to work together to serve more customers. You can build webinars together to schedule your meetings. You can build face-to-face opportunities, as well as thinking about events or scheduling networking opportunities with job fairs. You're trying to find some ways that you build together and a partner and share resources. We've had to evaluate that ourselves because what we've decided at ProTrain is we want to be involved in the job tracking business. We want to find a way to take our certifications and credentials when people finish a very sophisticated course and start gaining their certification for employment. How can we track that in the future? The Department of Labor is recommending and suggesting and demanding that for a lot of grants and efforts that are going on. By building the partnership metrics and knowing what your partners can do, you can help succeed that process. So as we look at job fairs and placements of networking and working with different people, and we want to help sustain the Workforce Investment Act's requirements for job tracking and job placement, we had to give some serious consideration to what the limitations were at the community colleges or universities today and what our resources were. So we decided and put together a partnership strategy to find new resources to do that. With the limited resources necessary right now in the areas of job tracking, we wanted a tool that would help us gather and report and help graduates find jobs and track performance and program performance. So we did the evaluation. We looked at different resources. We've actually invested ourselves in a job tracking tool that's built into the ProTrain LMS. And we found another great partner, a company called GradCast. GradCast actually brings to us an opportunity to take our graduates from our courses, takes them closer to employment, and then we also have a reporting mechanism as a metric to be able to evaluate how they're doing. So if you could imagine finishing a class, now you've got to find a job. What GradCast brings is 600,000 industry employers that are in the career and technical education fields, and they're looking for ways to find employees that are credentialed and certified. These employers have opted in to the GradCast tool. The idea is that they will accept the resumes for qualified candidates. At the top it says we connect you and your graduates with the 80%. The fact of the matter is only 20% of the jobs that are listed in advertising right now are the jobs that are truly available. The entry-level positions and a lot of the technical trade programs aren't advertised because of the cost at different websites and in newspapers. They are looking for qualified certified candidates, and these employers of this 600,000 have opted in to receive resumes from candidates. We had a community college in Minnesota say, well, you know, in one specific area, how many resumes are available in my community? This database can break down 2 zip codes and find out how many different employers are available in their area. ProTrain went through an evaluation process to make sure that this is the right partner for us. We evaluated their mission and vision. We looked at what they were doing in regards to service and our short-term and long-term goals. And we found that their tracking tools and the pieces that they have put together and the employers that have already opted in give our students an advantage. Each of our students that graduate would receive 100 free resumes that they can send out directly to these employers in their area. We want to take this to the point where we can actually track and report this employment data. By the employees being able to access this information and put their resumes out, we know for every 100 resumes they get about 2 interviews. We're trying to make sure we build new mechanisms for them to be able to get better access to the employers in the area. We want to be able to easily identify what's going on with them and be able to report the data in a dashboard format. The reporting includes many of the standard programming ideas, and we're looking at how we can track this even through technology of mobile devices. I want to share with you now, there is the mobile device tracking tool already. They already are using email, text, and voicemail. This is one way that even as an employee becomes employed through the job tracking tool, when they want to come back in, they have a chance to self-report very easy. They can actually come back in and check yes or no about their employability. We're going to be able to monitor in ways that we haven't before. Find ways to have reports about the employability of students in the future. We're going to also be able to gather additional data about what the company is that they're employed with and maybe the starting pay and the starting date. We give them a chance through a mobile device, which makes it so simple that they can report this in a way that they've never been able to report it before. The device also gives them an opportunity to look into, are they still working? And we will check to find out if they're looking for other education opportunities to move forward their education process. We're through a mobile device with the new employees entering the market, the 18 to 35-year-olds, and today the growing market for a lot of the mobile devices is even the baby boomers, as they're now adding this to their resources. We now will have a mechanism to track them from the time that they take a course, finish a course, and enter this database for employability. The dashboard makes it easy for the college and the universities to be able to see what is going on. It also is a great gift for the credit side. A lot of GradCast partners truly have worked with college and universities, and the college university actually gives it to every student that graduates. We now make it available for every student that finishes ProTrain. We take it another level in the ProTrain partnership rule about making sure that we have great partners for registration with Augusoft, which starts the whole process. Our content, materials, and our student experiences are excellent for the students through our registrar and our MIS professional, through our training assessment managers who help them enroll, to now taking them to our GradCast partner. What you're seeing here is a multiplication of 3. You have a GradCast partner that helps with completion. You have an Augusoft partner that helps with some registration, and ProTrain is in the middle with the amazing service of certification and credential that leads to the job. Partnership can be an amazing way to grow and build your business model, to serve students in ways you've never served them before, to have tracking devices and reports that can finish up all of your success in helping students be successful. Remember, only 20% of the jobs are advertised in the market space today. 80% go unadvertised. You need a mechanism to be able to get your students closer to those jobs and then be able to track them through a mobile device. ProTrain has made this happen through a partnership, the same way that you help your students get served through partnerships. Augusoft, ProTrain, and GradCast make an amazing student experience and completion from the entry to the job. We're excited to be able to share with you today a metrics about putting together a plan to present to your president, your vice president, your dean, how you need to enter into a new partnership. We've used that metrics to help us build our GradCast partnership, And think in terms of Augusoft, we went through a similar kind of matrix to make sure that our missions and visions aligned and that we were going to serve the right students. You're in the same position now as you grow your college continuing education divisions and thinking about who you're going to partner with. I've shared with you a little bit about ProTrain in regards to some amazing things that we have going on, the completion of our accreditation for sole proprietor school in the North Carolina Community College system, our partnership with GradCast, our partnership with Augusoft, and recently becoming GSA approved for national contracts and efforts. We have some amazing things going on, and we look forward to serving you with our over 200 certifications and credentials. I'll pause there for questions. And I do know we have a correlation between Beth, where you're going to take over and go through the Augusoft connection associated to the ProTrain.
Right, and what we're going to do is just to save everybody some time, I'm going to, while you're formatting your if you have questions for Trenton specifically, or for me, that's fine. Go ahead and start adding your questions into the right-hand side. And what I'm going to do for those of you that are maybe familiar with this or maybe not familiar with this, in Lumens, I'm going to show you the basic, just very basic, how you would upload ProTrain classes. So first of all, what you would do is you would go into your configuration screen here, and you would click on Online Course Management, and you would go there to simply import the ProTrain classes. And you go to import them, and you import, it is basically importing a list of those classes. Once you do that, see here, whoops. Once you do that and you import those classes, on the import screen, it's going to ask you to price those classes. ProTrain is going to give you a suggested a retail price, but you have the ability to mark that price up based on what your market will bear. And that is something that you can work with the ProTrain staff on too, because they'll help you with that. They'll also help you determine what classes specifically should you be uploading to your Lumen site that are specific to the area that you service or the student base that you service. And then what this is showing you is the student registration screen, what they're going to see. And this is, they would go, if they were looking at a technology class, they would see one of ProTrain's hottest selling classes, an A+ technology class. They also offer Microsoft Office Suite and a potpourri of those. But they would go ahead and click on that class, and it would take them immediately, into registering for that class. So they would pay for that class, and you collect those dollars immediately, and the student then gets a registration notification from ProTrain along with a link as to how to get into the class to take that. Okay. This is the basic sign-in page where a student would go in and sign in. If they already have a profile, it automatically takes them to it and to register, or they would build a new profile. And the whole concept is the program, you make the money, you collect the funds first. The beauty of what we call single sign-on is that you're able to upload these classes into your Lumen site. You can market them on the web easily. The other thing is you can use a multiple catalog feature within Lumens, which could literally put all your online classes in that catalog, or you can actually put the online classes with your in-person classes. And I know Trenton touched on it too, that ProTrain also has the ability to give you some in-person classes and supplement your program that way also. Now, if you are ready to move forward as an Augusoft customer and you want to start activating these ProTrain classes, simply just call our Augusoft customer service team, and you'll be designated a Lumen's CS rep, and they'll literally walk you through the process. We've got a QRA that they'll send you, and you'll be ready to go instantaneously. But we also encourage, one of the things that we're seeing is with our Augusoft customers is that you want to also be marketing those ProTrain classes in your catalog, your print catalog. Marketing them on the web is not enough. And so what you want to do is work with your account manager at ProTrain to really specifically pick those classes within ProTrain that you think that are going to be the best fit. And maybe they may be all of those classes, maybe they may be some of them, but hone in on that and work with that account manager at ProTrain to really choose what you want to do, because it is ultimately about student success. Obviously, if you've got questions after the webinar, you can certainly go ahead and just email me or Trenton. And what I'm going to do is open up here and see if we've got any questions here. I'll let Veronica drive here for a minute. And it looks like what we have, okay. Okay, here we've got a question. Can you explain how ProTrain provides a non-e-commerce website to capture leads? And a non-e-commerce website. I'm not sure if, Kevin, this is directed towards me or to Trenton. Trenton, can you help me out here?
And repeat the question one more time, please.
Okay, Trenton, this it's directed to you. Can you explain how ProTrain provides a non-e-commerce website to capture leads?
So, yeah, we will work with you to help set up the system. And when you reference a non-e-commerce, I suspect you're talking about gaining leads and that the college or university is actually taking the registrations and the students. So there is a mechanism. Our training assessment managers would work with you during the building of your website to help you accommodate that, so that the leads would come directly to you, and then the profit share would be managed associated to that successful registration and the completion.
Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions at this time. Okay. So what we're going to do is we will wrap up this webinar a little bit early, which is great. And Veronica, you want to go ahead and close and tell them what they will be receiving?
Yep.
Those that attended.
Thanks, Beth. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We will be sending out the presentation in the coming days, actually right after this. So look in your inbox and have a great day.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Trenton.